In this video, let us talk about while loops in Java. Now, while loops are very much similar to the for loops in terms of functionality, but there is a difference of syntax between the two. Let me show you. Let us rewrite the code that we wrote in the last video using a while loop. Now, the very first step is to declare a loop variable and initialize it to 0. So int I as 0. Next, we type the while keyword. And within the parentheses, we specify the loop condition. So as long as I is less than 7, we are going to execute the code inside the block. So let me copy the print statement that we want to run as long as the condition holds true. So this one, and paste it right here. And let us concatenate I with this. And finally, we need to increment the loop variable like this, I++. So at the end of each iteration, we increment I like our for loops. We can also run the loop in reverse. So let me show you this. Let me copy this and paste it down below. And here reset I to 7. So as long as I is greater than 0, we print this line and we decrement I by 1 like this. So let us try this out. So Java C basics.java and Java basics. So for the first set of output, we initialized I to 0. Now as long as I is less than 7, we are going to perform this code block. So 0 is less than 7. So we run this line which says Java tutorial 0. And then we increment I by 1. We again check the condition 1 less than 7, that is true. So we print Java tutorials 1. And then 1 gets incremented by 1. So now I becomes 2, so 2 less than 7, and as long as this condition is true, we'll keep performing this code block. So now when I becomes 6, we print Java tutorials 6, we increment I by 1, and now I becomes 7, so 7 is not less than 7. So we come outside the while loop, and we start running our code from here. So here I'm initializing it to a value of 7, or you can even omit this because the current value of I is 7. That we got after this while loop. So let me remove this and let us again try running this. So here we check as long as I is greater than 0, we keep on performing this code block. So 7 is greater than 0, so we say Java tutorial 7, and then we decrement I by 1. So now I becomes 6, we say Java tutorial 6, then I gets decremented by 1. It is still greater than 0, so we keep on performing the following code block as long as I is greater than 0. Now when I becomes 1, 1 is still greater than 0, so we say Java tutorials 1 and I gets decremented by 1. Now it is 0 greater than 0, which is false. So for I 0, the code block will not run and it will come out of the while loop. So in essence, we can achieve the same thing using a for loop or a while loop. So now we know about while loops, let us learn about a type of loop, and that is called as the do while loop. Now a do while loop is very similar to the while loop, but it gets executed at least once. So let us rewrite the above code using a do while loop. So we start with the do keyword and create a code block, and at the end of this code block we type our condition using the while keyword, followed by the parentheses in which we specify the loop condition. So here we can say I less than 7, and then we terminate the loop using a semicolon. Let us initialize our I value to 0 and increment I by 1, and let me separate the above code with the do while loop code using a line of asterisks, so this, and let us give this a whirl. So you can see we are getting the output as Java tutorial 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now when I becomes 7, 7 is less than 7, which is false. So we won't make into the do block, and therefore for I7 we will not get any output. So now let us compare a do while loop with the while loop that we defined just a while back. Now in the while loops we check the condition first. So if the condition is false for the first time, this loop will never get executed. Contrary to this, in the do while loops we check the condition at the last. So do while loop always gets executed at least once, even if the condition is false, because we are checking the condition at the last. So that is the only difference between a while loop and a do while loop. So this was all I wanted to cover in this video. If you liked the video, do give it a thumbs up or comment down below if you have any query. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and let's catch up in the very next one.